5150, thank you so much for watching. Tonight's a very special evening here in Silver Lake. For those of you that follow my interviews, you know that I remember when Silver Lake was very gang infested, but not no more. But that's not what we're here to talk about. About 22 years ago? Fucking hey, 22 years ago. By the way, you look great, Lori. This is Lori from Acid King. About 22 years ago, I think I received a 7-inch from a very old, pivotal, ahead of their time record label called Sympathy for the Record Industry.
That would be a 10-inch.
Remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes, I do. It's our first record.
I recall that label, especially at that time, was. Come on, Theo. That's my uncle picking up garbage. I remember at that time that record label was breaking new bands at that time that were cutting edge, ahead of the genre, and definitely breaking ground. Acid King, I would like to say humbly, was one of them. One of the things that I found interesting about that 10-inch, and then I believe your follow-up was what, like a full length?
Yeah, it was a full length, yeah.
If you recall back then, heavy music was not popular.
No, back in the time, first of all, it was such a long time ago, there wasn't really a lot of independent record labels, and people weren't creating their own music digitally on their own, so you actually had to have a record label. There wasn't that many. Really, Sympathy was kind of the only one around putting out oddball bands that didn't fit in any category. And
they never got the respect they deserved. Everybody kisses Sub Pop's asses, but Sympathy really did a lot.
Yeah, they totally did. They didn't really have a genre. It was just kind of like the label from the misfits, the people that didn't fit into any certain category.
And look at us now. Now we're cool kids.
Yeah, now we're part of the stoner rock category.
Ugh, don't get me started with that. One of the things that I liked about the band then, and that I'm very proud to say has been consistent now, is the fact that you were raw, you were real, you were what I would like to call, because I hate stereotypes and I hate categories, real rock and roll. Loud and definitely in your face. And not to get into the whole PR type thing, but at that time, a lot of female-fronted bands, whether they were commercial or here in Los Angeles, extreme underground, they were still using sex appeal to try to lure in a fan base. That wasn't the case with Acid King. It was just raw in your face.
Yeah, no.
And you've been consistent.
Yeah, no.
Did that drive you nuts back then?
Well, it was never my thing. I think most of the women that probably did that were back in those days, metal bands. I mean, you got to look at Girl School. They really didn't do that. Not really. There was like spandex or whatever, but they weren't wearing, you know.
But you remember that time.
Yeah,
you
totally.
remember the shtick back then.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that had to do with, you know, you didn't have a choice. If you got signed to a record label, your, you know, A&R people said, put on these outfits, ladies, you know. I don't know. Maybe women didn't really feel like they, you know, or they didn't have the confidence to, you know, just do what they wanted to do without using that as a marketing ploy to get attention. And I never wanted to do that, and I never will. I really just wanted to be a person in a band, not known as a female in a band, you know, female fronted. It would, you know, I was always hoping that one day there'd be a review that just talked about the music. Obviously, I'm a female, so they had to mention that, but, you know, just like that wasn't like the draw, and that
Right.
wasn't the attention. I never wanted that, so I feel pretty good that I've accomplished that.
You've accomplished that very well because, as I mentioned, you've been consistent. And what I mean by that is even though you kind of fly off and on the radar, every time you reappear, whether it's with a new release or like this show, by the way, it's sold out.
I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
But every time that you've popped up, you've always maintained the integrity factor, and you've always given a good rock and roll, genuine live show. What I mean by that is now that I am older, I tend to see the so-called show aspects of musicians where they go out and it's kind of much like a performance, like if you go see like theater. In reality, you know, you can see they don't give a fuck. They're looking at the time. They want to get the hell out. They want to do the encore, and that's it. every time I've seen you play, not only does it seem like you're enjoying it, but you're also enjoying the energy that you've been able to conjure up for over 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, I feel like the fans, the people that come and see us, that know the band, are really into the music. And since we've been around for so long, you have generations of people that knew us back, when we first started, and people that just found out about us 2 weeks ago. So it's been really cool, journey. But I feel like the people that do come, for the most part, are real fans and not just like hipsters jumping on a bandwagon. We've never been that band that just all of a sudden instantly got popular with people that we never saw before. Obviously, we've been around for a long time and that hasn't happened. So yeah, it's really cool. It's fun to play. People are really into it, and the more they are, the more energy we get from the audience when they're excited to hear us. The easier it is to play. You're playing, and it feels, it's very gratifying.
Do you also take breaks? Because as I mentioned, you pop on and off. Last time I saw you was last year when you were playing with Yob out in the desert. By the way, I love that show. I love that area. Love Peppy and Harry. It's an awesome place.
Yeah, cool.
But is it those breaks that you take, whether they're on your own because you want to or for whatever reason, that keeps it fresh?
Yeah, first of all, you don't want to overplay. People don't want to see you all the time. Even once a year, might be too much in some towns. The whole less is more theory definitely is the thing. I don't need to play all the time. I didn't start to play music so I could, go out and play every day. I have a life outside of music. I do other things besides play. So I definitely have other things going on in my life, and I don't think doing music 100% and playing out all the time is beneficial to at least our path in
And
life.
it takes away the genuine love of playing, no?
Yeah, totally. Because
Becomes a
it
job.
feels like a job. And if I'm playing the same songs every day, then in exchange for money, it's like, yeah. So I like to do it when I want to do it. I like to play shows that I want to play. I'm very selective about what I do. I turn down many things. So I just
Would you say that's the secret to the longevity?
I think so. I think not having any kind of expectations, not having any goal, we're going to put out this many records and go on this many tours, and by this period of time, if we don't have, we're not selling out places or we are not drawing this crowd, we're going to throw it in. There's never been any expectations. We play our music, we write our music. If people come, that's awesome. We play when we want to play, and I feel like that's really the key to success. There's no, it's okay, well, it might take me 10 years to write a record.
Who cares?
I don't care. I mean, we're DIY, you know what I mean? We're kind of punk rock. We do whatever we want. We don't really have a record label, and I can do whatever I want.
And look at now. Look how everything has come full circle. Back, the subversive underground scene started off as DIY, and then, as we were discussing the origins of the band, it was the last epic era of the mafia, power-hungry record labels, and now here we are back to do it yourself. And
yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to do it yourself now because you have digital, Bandcamp and Apple Music, whatever. You can put it up on anywhere yourself. You don't really need that unless that's what your goal is to have some record label and be on big tours. And if that's your goal, then you probably want to do that. But for Acid King, that's not our goal. And everything we've done, we've gotten there by ourselves without anybody's help. Well, but I shouldn't say anybody's help. Of course, there's always been help, but it's been help, hired by us,
right,
and not a record label or a 3-record deal, and you have to go on all these tours and play with all these shitty bands you don't want to play with, and it's I dictate what we want to do, and I feel very happy about doing it on my own.
as you should.
I want to do what I want to do.
This is interesting. You've been touring. I believe these are the last dates of the
last
tour.
2 shows. Yeah.
You've been touring, celebrating the 20th anniversary. I hate using dating ourselves here, but
I know we're old.
okay, I'm known for butchering because aside from being Hispanic, I'm a LA Unified School graduate, and you know how that goes. You're from the Bay, you know.
I'm from Chicago.
But you've been up in the Bay.
Yeah, I have been. I've been in San Francisco for a long time.
You know what? Before we get into that, have you been back to Chicago?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great city.
Yeah, my mom still lives there. Yeah.
That's a fantastic city. All this about, it's Bedlam.
Yeah.
Everywhere is Bedlam. But anyway.